There it is. I've grown to like that now. I can hear her and I like it. So, you guys, welcome everybody. I want to open up this panel, and I apologize. I can't remember who suggested it last week, but we had a really good suggestion last week. Um, I think Joelle, I think you were suggesting last month when we did the provider panel to have me give everyone kind of a heads up so that you as guests can start to send in some of your questions maybe, so I'd have some of them pre-written, and I'm totally up for doing that. I did not do it this time, but I am up for
Oh
doing
my
that. So
gosh.
I will be a little bit more on the ball this next month so that we can start doing that. But I will run it like I always do in this case. But we are here to ask any questions, present any struggles that we're having. This is a safe space. We've got some incredible providers on tonight, you guys. I can never say enough appreciation for our providers. They're always so willing to hop on. And we've had times like tonight where we almost have as many providers as we do people. And I love it because it just shows how much they care and how willing they are to be here and to connect with you guys. And so please take advantage of them. I'm speaking. Take advantage of having them here and enjoy connecting with them, and vice versa. We learn as much from you. You've got a community here, so let's connect together. We've got Grant, we've got Signe, we've got Joelle, we've got Dave and Tyler. So please let's connect, and thank you, you guys, for being here. But I would love to open up with some gratitude. Since we've got a little bit of a manageable group tonight, I would love to open up with some gratitude. Corky, will you start us off with some gratitude? What are you
Sure.
grateful for?
I am very grateful for being here. And I had a wonderful day today hiking and seeing the new place. And it was very cool and it felt very much at home.
I love it. Corky's here. For those of you who may not have grabbed that, she's here in St. George right now. So she is basking in the Red Rock sun. And we are so happy to have her. Welcome, Rach. Love it. Okay, who wants to show gratitude next? Ash, you're next on my screen, so you get selected.
Okay. I am grateful for last week's session, actually, and if you can pass on a message to Dr. Tate for me, that would be great. Because I was talking about how I've had a really bad eczema flare up on my hands since June, and right after Christmas, it turned into a really bad staph infection on my fingers. So I took antibiotics and steroids and all of that. And then as soon as that cleared up, the eczema just came back full force. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't, it's not going away. I feel like I've tried everything. So Dr. Tate was saying maybe to try and make it more of a mental thing. And instead of willing it to go away, to embrace it more. And if it's itching and stuff like that, instead of crazy digging into your skin, um to just be more gentle in a way. And so basically I the next day I tried that out. And I was like, okay, instead of itching it, which is gonna be really hard,
So
just
hard.
I would place my hands one on top of each other and take a deep breath and be like, it's okay. like, and I'm not kidding. It would the itching would subside within 30 seconds. I'm like, what the heck? So that really helped.
This is
And so I'm
amazing.
super grateful for that. My hands are looking way better than they have in a long time. I also am still using creams and stuff. I kind of resurfaced one of the creams I was using, and I think that's also helping.
Mm,
So, anyways, I'm grateful for that.
love it.
And thank you, Dr. Tate.
Thank you, Dr. Tate. Amen.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. Ty, what about you? You're next on my screen.
I'm just grateful to hear that, Ashley. That's so awesome. In one of my in my lecture next week, as we talk about neuroplastic conditions, there's a part where we have a list of neuroplastic conditions, and itchiness is listed as one of those.
Mm.
Wow.
And people are like, how can itchiness be like a neuroplastic thing that becomes a conditioned response? And can I use your example?
Yeah,
That's
for
so
sure.
cool. I'll use that next week.
I
Yeah,
love
Yes.
like
it.
one time I burned my finger and I fought it and I resisted it. Like it was a bad burn. And I like kept ice on it for like half an hour and it was burning so bad. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to go to sleep with this. Like this is so intense. And I was like, I just need to sit with it and accept what I'm feeling instead of resisting it. And so I did. And it took several minutes, but then it subsided. My body was just like, I guess this isn't as threatening as we don't need to get your attention right now. And like still physiologically, it's burnt and it has to go through the healing process. But if you can accept what you're feeling instead of fighting it, then it doesn't have to have the loud volume. So anyway, I don't mean to like preach right now about that, but like that's beautiful. I'm super proud of you. That's amazing. So there's my
Thanks.
gratitude is like thank you for sharing that because that's like such an uplifting thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aside from that, uh, I don't know. Like I've got my kid. I don't know if you can hear them in the background right now, but like my kids are running around right now, and they can be disruptive. But it's also just like a beautiful thing that they are running around, and I'm really grateful for them and for my wife and everything. So
Mm.
I'll stop with that. I'm just happy to be here with you guys, and everything's going. Not everything's peachy, but like it's good to be alive.
Yeah. Well, we're glad you're here, Ty. We love you. Signy, what about you, beautiful soul? Goes off and there we go.
Sorry, it's new to me computer. Today was my first day back at the bridge since the
Mhm.
holidays.
Yes.
I just walked in there today and had such a great, it felt so good to be there. And it was so nice to see everyone there. And Jen and Brad were there and they were so welcoming and kind. And I just felt super happy to be at the bridge. And I'm happy to be here with you guys too. Like Tyler said, it's always really uplifting to hear what you have to say. And Ashley, that is mindfulness at its best.
Yeah.
Job.
Good
Yeah.
work. Good work,
Thank
Ash.
you.
Thank you, Signy. Gavin, you're next, my friend. What do you got to be grateful for today?
Um, let's see. I'm definitely grateful to be out of the hospital. And then it's kind of funny. Tyler was talking, and I guess Ashley too. But I sat down Monday with like the whole list of neurological doctors. Which Tyler, I appreciate you because everyone that I sat in, like none of the stuff they were saying was in English. Like it was in English, but it was just I'm like I don't understand anything. So basically, what it just came down to was like my stress response is seizure symptoms.
Mm.
So like just I'm grateful. Like obviously that's not a seizure. I'm grateful to be home, but like just ironic. Like when I push myself too hard, that
Mm.
I'll just kind of stop and have these episodes. So, but no, I'm just grateful to be home and back at work and back to quote unquote normal. So
Love it. We're glad too. Grateful to have you here, buddy. Joelle, what about you, my dear sweet friend? Maybe. Do, 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 do. Is it coming? You gonna type us your gratitude? If it pops up, we want to hear from you because we love hearing from you, Joelle. Work on it. All right. All right, Megan, what about you, sweetheart? Where's your gratitude today?
I have two. I had one, but then Tyler mentioned kids, so I have to jump off that because my son turns 2 tomorrow, so I'm very thankful for him. I'm also very thankful that 2 years ago he was a 34-hour labor baby. So this time last year or 2 years ago, I was in a lot of pain, and I'm very thankful I'm not experiencing that right now. So, um,
My baby's a 30-hour baby too, so I can relate.
yeah, they're really great.
Yeah.
Um, like, uh, what I'm grateful for this week is or recently is I've really gotten into Reiki therapy. We have the Soul Connection here in Wright City, and I'm just I've made a bunch of friendships through there. I was just in there on Monday with Melinda, and she's just very intuitive, and I feel like it's kind of like ASMR, like healing too, like just literally sitting there with her after a stressful day at work. I just had like all those chills through my body, and she was able to like bring me back to center. So I'm just really thankful for Reiki. I didn't think that that was ever going to be a part of my life, and I'm just absolutely loving it.
I am so glad you're finding a community. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Megan. Kim, what about you, Kimmy? Look how pretty you look tonight. You're on mute still.
Hi, can you hear me? Oh,
Mhm.
there we go. Today I'm grateful for patience. And just knowing that the universe will bring me what I need is really hard for me to be okay without having something to do every day. I'm in between employment. Um, but I found that I'm going to be a hospice nurse, a home hospice nurse.
Oh,
So
wow.
yeah, I got offered a job um, last week. So I don't know exactly when I start, but way different than what I've been doing. But I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing right now, and I'm grateful for the knowledge that if I'm just patient, it'll come.
Yeah, that's a beautiful place to be sitting. Thank you. Joelle is grateful for her beautiful plant from you. Yes.
I hope it's doing good.
I
It's
love
doing
it.
good. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yay, Joelle, there's your voice. I love it.
Okay, listen. I'm grateful for Dr. Harad. He saved my life. That's all I'm saying.
Love it. Saved your life.
Yep.
Karate.
That's all right. I'm over here Googling what Dr. Harada is, and I am seeing dentistry.
Yeah. He's a energy worker, chiropractic.
Okay.
Yeah.
Love
Ah.
it. Okay, Steph, what about you, Steph? So good to see you.
Good to see you too. Today, I'm feeling grateful for my family, and um, for finding the strength to ask for help when I need it. It's really, really hard for me to ask for help, but whenever I do, the responses are good, and it
Mm.
reinforces that it's okay to ask for help.
Mm. Thank you for being vulnerable. I love that.
Absolutely.
Welcome. Grant, how about you, my friend? What are you grateful for tonight, Grant?
Thankful for people who ask for help. A good example of asking for help.
Yes.
I think it's hard for me to ask for help too sometimes. I'm
Yeah.
also thankful for a yoga practice. It makes a big difference in my life.
I agree.
And I'm thankful for courageous people who often sit across from me. And I'm grateful for the people I work with who are
Yeah.
very cool and offer new perspective and insights.
Yeah. I love that. Thank you, Grant.
Sure.
That's awesome. Rachel, hey, beauty. What are you grateful for tonight?
Um, my heart is like so full.
I love it.
Oh gosh. And I'm super emotional.
We love it. Bring it on.
But I was so excited when I popped on here because I had no idea it was like the panel thing today. And when I saw everybody's faces pop up, I was like, oh my gosh, I love you and I love you. I'm so excited to see you. And like it's just like my heart is just so full of like gratitude for all of you.
Mm.
And like I've learned so much from you guys at the bridge, and you will like forever be a part of my like healing journey.
Mm.
And it's just so cool. Like it's so cool to see you guys. And I'm just my heart is just so full of gratitude.
Mm. We love you, Rachel. Thank you. Think you've made all of our nights just by being so open. That's so awesome. You're making me cry. All right, Dave. Dave, my friend, what are you grateful for?
Um, I did all my gratitudes earlier today,
Okay,
so
you got to
but
re.
I ha- I have a new one though. I was just outside in the sun before it got cloudy and the sun went down, and I've been really grateful for the weather. It's been nice.
Yeah.
I talked to a lot of people in different parts of the country, and it's not like this there.
Mhm.
So it's nice to have the sun shining and have it be 60 degrees when it's like 20 in other places.
Yes, I have a friend living in Korea and she walks every morning and she said it was 5 degrees yesterday. Five.
Hmm. Yeah.
So there's no complaining even when it says 30 in the mornings here. I'm fine.
Yep. It's
Right.
nice.
I love it. I agree, Dave. Thank you so much. Heather, what about you? Are you able to tell us what you're grateful for? I know it's hard sometimes if you guys can't get on. Okay, perfect. You're fine. I'm grateful for my husband's support and patience while I'm still trying to get my footing back at home. Beautiful. Sounds perfect, Heather. We're glad that you're here. What about you, Kiara?
My gratitude is so for the holidays we were gonna drive over and see like my grandparents and cousins and aunts and stuff, but there's a lot of snow on the path and we don't have chains, so we didn't make it. But
Mm.
this weekend, my grandma drove down and we got to see her for a day, so that was my gratitude.
Oh, I love grandmas. Grandmas are fun, huh?
Yeah.
I'm grateful that you got to see her. You guys, thank you for sharing your gratitude. I know sometimes it takes a little time, but I feel like it really raises the vibration for our meeting. It really brings a good spirit, a good energy here with us, and kind of helps us kick things off. So, my first question, I have a couple that I've written down, but I'm of course going to open it up to you guys first. If there's anyone that's come with something that they really want some help on, something that they are really needing help on, right? And that's what we're here for, or have a question or a struggle they'd like to open the floor with, please let us know. Anyone got something they want to open the conversation with today? Go for
I
it.
do. That's okay.
I love it.
Tyler, um, can you help me again with some just suggestions on restless legs? I've
Restless
been
leg.
really struggling the last couple of nights.
Yeah.
And I know we talked
Um,
about it a little bit when I was there, but oh man, it's been rough. So
yeah. And I'll try to make it like a little bit applicable for anybody else too, but like
yeah, I mean, I
if
think it kind of
you're
goes in line with itching or any other kind of nervous system.
Nervous tick.
yes, so it's kind of
Yeah.
a nervous system alarm where your body says like we still got a lot of energy. It can be that if your sympathetic system, I'm going to use this language because you understand this, but if your sympathetic system, your fight or flight response is in this activated state for a prolonged period, you can get kind of this after effect of getting kind of stuck and having a lot of energy availability. And you can't just like breathe your way through that and expect that it will go away. Like your body activates all of this energy, mobilizes everything like muscle tension, blood flow. You just have like this urge to move and you can't sit still. Don't just try and fight through that by sitting still. See if you can get some of the energy out. Um, and this is also true of like if we have stress responses where we feel really worked up and tense and your heart's pounding out of your chest, you can't just like breathe through that. You got to go use that energy. So if you run, if you lift weights, if you shake, if you scream, you yell, you swear, like whatever feels productive for you,
Mhm.
get some of the energy out so you can move through that state before you start to feel like now I can settle. Um, I would say there are a couple things. In the moment, it's going to be tough. Like in that moment, there probably has to be like a little bit of an acceptance of what you're feeling, but don't like if you're lying in bed and you're trying to settle, don't just force yourself through that if it's uncomfortable for like longer than 10 minutes and you don't feel like you can. Get up and do something with that energy. Otherwise, you start like conditioning your brain that bedtime is a time for feeling really uncomfortable and anxious and activated. So I'm jumping around on a few things, but one, use the energy in a way that you can. If you can do that before you go to bed, so you have like a routine where you're getting a lot of that energy out, probably starting more than a couple hours before you're trying to go to bed, so your body has time to settle. I wouldn't be
Yeah.
trying to like run right before bed because it like ramps up your cortisol and it makes it harder to sleep. Uh, but before you get like your bedtime routine, start trying to get some of the energy out by using it, like exerting yourself.
Okay.
And then the other thing is safety has to become more familiar for your nervous system. So practicing things that help your nervous system learn to feel safe. If you've been in like survival mode and that's been your default for a long time, and survival mode doesn't always look like anxiety and stress. Sometimes it looks like intense productivity and go, 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 and getting a lot of stuff done. If you get to that, sorry, I got distracted by Heather's message here. Okay, cool. Yeah, the sleep conditioning stuff. Great. Um, if your default has been like this hypervigilance, urgency, productivity, that's not a state that your nervous system is meant to be in long term. And it's great short term, and you get a lot of stuff done that way. But you have to practice creating safety and regulation in your nervous system throughout the day. So if you can somehow, and I'll let other people add to this, like I think a lot of the people here will have good tips for this, but create a practice where you have some consistency with finding regulation and having like safe experiences within your body. For me, like I love breath work for that. I love movement, physical touch, like being with people that I love, music, whatever it might be. But you have to have a little more practice so you develop a little more efficiency with feeling more safe. Did that answer that, Kim?
Yeah, thank you. Just so I can fall asleep okay usually, but I wake up and I'm so exhausted and disoriented, and I just can't like like my partner timed I kicked him every 7 seconds, like 8 times in a row. He's like, it was the weirdest thing. And I wasn't even aware of it, you know? And so I don't know. It's been really tough. So, but I am going to a breathwork session tonight over at the kiln.
Nice.
So yeah, so I think that'll be good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's going to be like a quick on-off switch. But if you have regular practices where you're getting more sympathetic inhibition and parasympathetic activation, like your nervous system starts to have more familiarity with feeling like it doesn't need to be in that urgency state, then it'll start to settle. But that just has to be a consistent practice each day.
Okay, thanks.
I don't mean to like be the moderator here, Tanisha, but like, can we open that up about like practices that I'm sure like Signe, Dave, Joel, Grant, who else is in here? Probably have a lot of tips on practices that help their nervous systems feel safe or connected with their bodies.
That was going to be my next question.
Sweet.
Yeah, I love it. So you other providers, what do you have as far as recommendations for creating safety on nervous system regulation, especially for those of us who get stuck in those heightened states and it takes a long time for us to come back down? What would you recommend,
Hmm.
Signe?
I can talk about that a little bit, I think. So, of course, meditation is a great way to practice that. And even if you only can feel safe for, gosh, it doesn't matter how long, you can lengthen the period of time that you sit, even if it's 30 seconds and you're just feeling your feet on the floor, right? So what I find is when I go to practice and I have these regular practices, they happen at the same time in the evening, and I can be just, in that active state, just coming home from work or whatever. I sit down and I begin the practice, and immediately my body falls into that relaxed state. So it is definitely a training for your body to be able to do that. And if you can create a regular habit, like Tyler's saying, just even moving is great. And also, if you can just sit, and it doesn't matter for how long, what matters is consistency, that you just practice and you get more and more comfortable with that. I think that would be really helpful. Yeah. Do you have a practice?
Yeah, I'm on day 24 of the 40-day one, the mindfulness daily. I've missed a couple of days, but I think my challenge is I think it's more of a procedure. Like if I do A, B, C, D, then I will get X, Y, Z, right? Instead of really being present. So that's kind of my challenge. Because I'm going through the motions, right?
Right.
And when I find more presence in that practice, then I do feel better. So I need to get out of the procedure.
Yeah. I like that, Kim. Well, for me, it's like we create outcome formulas for ourselves, even with good intention, where we're doing something good and beneficial, but if we have like the outcome expectation in that formula, we tend to lose what we're actually like trying to achieve,
100%. Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you.
Also, that when you are sitting, okay, there is nothing to achieve. There's literally nothing to achieve. There's no, if you're able to focus, there's no reward. If your mind wanders, there's no, like, this is literally the practice of being. And there is no other objective. There's nothing to gain from it, right? We're sitting for the purpose of sitting. And it's not to become good at meditation, right? It's to train your mind. And as Tyler was saying, right? Body will follow mind, mind follow body, right? So to sit without any expectation, without any feeling that you need to cultivate something, fix something, change something, accomplish something. Just to, yeah, that's really, really important in a mindfulness practice to realize.
Joelle
Thank
talked to
you.
us a
That's
couple
super
weeks.
helpful.
Yeah, Joelle talked to us a couple weeks ago about creating rituals, and it's just that's what I feel like. I mean, it's just creating a ritual. That's all we're doing, right? Is just trying to achieve. That's what we're trying to achieve. Is just creating a ritual, like having that structure piece. I love
Yeah,
that.
I think I'm doing all the things. I think Signy, thank you for your suggestion because sitting without expectation, because I think in my mind I'm ruminating on, okay, this is going to make me feel better. This is going to make it so I don't have restless legs tonight, or you know what I mean? Like, I've done a couple of rituals that Joel sent. Like I'm doing all the things, but it's frustrating because like my restless legs did get better while I was at the bridge, and like a couple weeks after I got home, but the last week, I don't know what's going on.
Can I make a little
So,
comment about that?
yeah.
Well, two things. You might remember this phrase, connection over correction. So if whatever strategy you're using, whatever ritual you create, whatever habit you're engaging in to create that safety, it shouldn't be this transaction that if I do this, then this will happen. It should be your relationship. This is for developing a relationship with myself, with my body, for healing that relationship. If we've been kind of disconnected from the body, that's how we heal it. So relational instead of transactional. Use it for connection with yourself instead of correction of your body or whatever automatic response you're having. And then the other comment, I just forgot. Oof. What did you say right before? If it comes to me, I'll chime back in.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other thoughts from anybody? Joelle, Dave, Grant, your thoughts?
I have some thoughts. Was there
Awesome.
someone else that was? It sounds like that someone else was bringing something up.
Steph's got something after. We'll let you go. Go
I
on,
can
Steph.
say it later. I have perspective, but I'm not a provider, so I have perspective of someone that struggles with it.
We love your perspective as well. Let's hear it, Steph.
Okay, I'll be quick if I can
You're
remember
wise.
it.
We know you're wise.
I struggle with sleep. I struggle with restless leg syndrome. I struggle with eating. I struggle with a lot of stuff. What I didn't realize before I went to the bridge is our society kind of like gives us these formulas, like we're talking about. They give us these ideas in our head that we don't even realize about. That's my dog, sorry. About what happiness should look like or how you should do something. And over the last year, I've tried to kind of rethink a lot of those things because, like Tyler said, it's connection over correction because it's the reason a lot of fad diets and stuff like that don't work is because people are trying to do things in a way that doesn't work for them. They're just trying to follow a formula that someone else created. So you really have to look at how it works for you because 8 hours of sleep is not the same for every person. You know, times of day, circadian rhythm, how we eat, our metabolism, all these things. Humans are really complex. So our providers can give us ideas and stuff that help us, but really the key to unlocking these things is within ourselves, like sitting with ourselves. Like if I'm not falling asleep at night, I'm trying to pay attention now more to my thought patterns, to like what happened throughout the day, trying to see how that impacts my sleep or my eating or those sorts of things. And that can kind of help sometimes get away from that like formula and having that expectation, because when you have expectations of the way something should go, you're trying to force your body through a pigeonhole that it doesn't really belong in. So I've found that like that's what I learned that was most impactful was like listening to my body and myself.
Beautiful. Thank you, Steph. That's awesome. Thank you. Yeah, we all kind of got to customize our own pieces for sure. And that awareness really pays off that we learn at the bridge. Dave, go ahead. What was your thoughts?
Yeah, this does go along with what Steph was talking about. I like the somatic ways of self-regulating or learning self-regulation, practicing self-regulation. But stream of consciousness journaling, believe it or not, is well vetted in the research. It's you wouldn't think so. You really wouldn't think that that would be something that would help with self-regulation. You would think it would be more something that was somatic. And I think that those things are good as well. But stream of consciousness journaling is really cool too, because it does go along with what Steph was talking about. So the practice is stream of consciousness journaling. So the goal is to essentially just write whatever is in your mind, write whatever is going on. So you wake up in the morning and it sounds something like, I was thinking about drinking orange juice, but orange juice has a lot of sugar. And so I don't know today, and I'm kind of feeling a little bit tired. Yesterday, it was like daydreaming and I almost fell asleep at Starbucks. Okay. And so the goal is to just write a page or 2 pages of stream of consciousness every day. Again, in the research, it's well vetted as something that helps with self-regulation. And the interesting thing about it is that if you start doing it, you'll find that when you don't do it, you don't feel as good. That's usually what clients tell me. They'll say, I wasn't sure that it was working.
Right.
But when I don't do it, I really sort of feel it. I really, I realize that it was helping. So so again, the practice would be, and it's a practice, right? We're not trying to get it right. The practice is we write a couple of pages of stream of consciousness. Whatever you're thinking, it could be misspelled. You could swear. You can say whatever you want. It's just what's in your head. Write a couple of pages of that every day. You can do it in the morning. You can do it whenever it's convenient. And it doesn't have to be spelled correctly. In fact, I even tell people sometimes if you write the 2 pages, you can just throw them away after you're done because the content is not really what's important. It's the process of doing it, right? And often you wouldn't want other people to, know what's in your mind, what's in your stream of consciousness some days. I wouldn't want some people to find it. So because there are a lot of private thoughts. But but it is really good for a few different reasons, but most noteworthy again in the research, it's well vetted, but also because um, you're practicing. You're just writing. So it doesn't have. We're not writing a story. You're not writing the details in chronological order of what happened yesterday. You're not writing. It's not like that. There's not a goal. The goal is to write a few pages, stream of consciousness, and get rid of it.
I love
Okay.
that.
I like that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, and not judging it, right? Just there's no judgment there. There's no I try to practice that myself, and then I find myself like, oh, I've got to make it sound good, or what am I, you know what I mean? Like we're trying to achieve something else. There's that achieve piece again. Ugh, guess who's overly
Well,
ambitious? No.
right. And the old staple is gratitude too, which has a mountain of research. It's weird that something like gratitude, like writing gratitudes, has a mountain of research. It's been looked at really, like it's been, it's well vetted. So with gratitudes, instead of maybe doing three gratitudes, sometimes I just like to do a whole page.
Mm.
Yeah, like if it works, I mean, this is a bad philosophy for some things, but if one is good, 10 are better. Not with everything.
True. I
Can
love
I
that.
chime in on some of the physiology of that? I love that Dave brought that up. I was surprised to hear about that stuff when I read a book called Back in Control by Dr. David Hanscom. That like he was a spine surgeon who stopped doing surgery because he found that like encouraging people to do expressive writing, which is just like another name for stream of consciousness stuff,
Mhm.
had like way better results than his neurosurgeries did, than his spine surgeries. And so he stopped doing that. And I mean, he would do a few of them, but he'd require people to go through this protocol. And I know we're like not encouraging protocol stuff right now, but um, that and gratitude journaling have like really, really well documented physiological effects of improving like heart rate variability. Gratitude journaling has shown to be like a really powerful anti-inflammatory, which is I think just amazing to like reduce your body's inflammation by practicing being grateful. That's so cool. So I'm glad Dave brought that up. I knew these guys would have some really good strategies for self-regulation. Thanks, Dave. Thanks, Stephanie, for bringing up that idea.
Yes, Steph. Grant, you've tried to get off a couple times on mute. What do you got, my friend?
Um, I would say I think it really kind of ties together what a lot of people have already said, but I think if we think of our bodies maybe as children, um, and sometimes a part of our body demands negative attention, and we give it negative attention because we're wired for negativity, right? So my I don't notice my feet until they start hurting. I don't notice that shoulder till it starts. So meditation for me is the practice of awareness and being aware that something's there. And if I'm only aware that my child's there when they're negative, or I'm only aware my shoulder's there when it's negative, I'm not giving it positive attention. So if we take a minute, just when's the last time do we focus on our hand and all the sensations in our hand? And if we roll it over, do we have new sensations? And can we notice that? And if we touch our forehead or we put it on our heart, and how does that change? Take that time for that awareness. But also, so choose your pain. That's why, in this way, I do a cold plunge. Not super fun,
No.
but the benefits are worth it. And I just chose to put myself in there. It's a lot different than if my brother just pushed me in the cold swimming pool, right? At 40 degrees. So our mindset's different. Or if I choose to run, or if I choose yoga, or if I choose lifting weights, I've chosen which muscles I want to be sore and give attention to. And then I smile when I think of how I got that. I'm not complaining because I've got restless leg, though I no blame, Kim, because I've experienced that. But I think if we decide what we want to give pain to and how we want that to happen, that's great. If we give awareness, and then like Dave said, you don't just have to give awareness to your hand, When's the last time you thanked your hands? When's the
Mm.
last time you had gratitude for your hands for all they do for you? Or are my legs screaming for attention and are they screaming for gratitude? Like, thanks for getting me from here to there. So pay attention. I mean, if our bodies are functioning, they're great computers for us. We should have gratitude for when we're healthy because we sure don't when we're not, and that gets our attention. So
Yeah.
that's, yeah, a few thoughts.
Yeah, so true too. We really our senses are heightened when the negative is around, and we get hyper focused on that. I agree. That's a really beautiful thought. Joelle, did you have something you wanted to add?
So with the affirmations or the rituals that I was talking about the last time,
Yeah.
it helps because like putting your hand on your heart can just kind of make you feel safe. Like my grandbaby, she'll just kind of hold herself when she's just feeling a little off, um, warmth will help you feel safe. It just signals your brain that it's okay, and then when you get to that point, you can like say to yourself like, I stop before I'm exhausted, or I don't have to earn rest, or things like that, just like to help yourself calm yourself down like you would do to a baby, because you kind of pat the baby and you say it's okay. We need it too, and there's nobody else to do it for you. You do it to yourself. Right. And
Yeah.
consistency is what matters, not how long you do it. It's just get because I'm in burnout, or I was, not knowing, thinking it was my job when it was a lot of everything. It was my family, it was everything. So I've learned to like say a positive no and just get the help I needed, because you do need help. You can't just dig yourself out of it, And learning that like because I was in such a hurry or doing things, I had to change my diet. I would like hurry up and or I drink coffee to get myself going. So you understand your body too.
Right. Yeah. Reading in on those cues, and it's sometimes it's hard for us to actually see what the cues are in our body until we kind of start asking the questions like Steph was kind of giving us a beautiful example of, where it's like, okay, I'm not sleeping, so what's happened throughout the day? Like what could be part of that? I love that. Go ahead, Joelle.
Which I'm a regular meditator, but something happened. I got kind of sick, and so it threw me off. And I just kept pushing and kept pushing instead of realizing what I had.
Yeah. I love Tyler's comment in the chat where he's really liking the conversation, but I like when he says, what happens to a relationship with a child if the only communication is through screaming, right? What happens with our relationship with our bodies if we're only responsive when it comes to screams, right? Pains, anxiety, why, what is it that causes us to connect with that, right? And the retribution of that. I think that's really, really substantial for us to look at. Any other thoughts, you guys? This is a really, really cool conversation. Anyone else got something that they'd like to add, or like, hey, who has, what I have a problem with is I have certain things that I've had structured. Does anyone have struggled trying to make those pieces consistent? Like these kinds of pieces that we're talking about, right? I have certain things I've done for years that I've never stopped, but when I know there's other things that are going to be beneficial, trying to make those things consistent, it gets really tricky. And I like Signy's suggestion of just like maybe sit down for 30 seconds, right? Like, can we start with something that simple? Does anyone have any thoughts on how to start simple?
I have a thought.
Love it.
It's really simple. Okay, just pre-commit, right? It's too hard to commit yourself to something every single day. Am I going to do it? You got to reach in there and find that will. And how about, right, you just tell yourself, this is what I do every day. You pre-commit. You still might miss it sometimes, but sorry, I'm getting distracted. But that I think that pre-committing piece can be really helpful in just getting yourself there. It's a lot of energy to do that every single time, right?
Yeah. And it's got to feel simple. Dave, go ahead. Do you have something?
I didn't have something, but
But now
that
you do.
now that you started talking
See?
to me.
See?
But so I think I've talked about this before, but it's that idea of friction in sales, right? So friction in sales, like if we look at Amazon, so if you go to Amazon and you order something, you know how easy it is. Your card is there, your address is already there, everything is there. In fact, even the things that you bought last time are there. So you just click on them and you buy them now, right? And
Mhm.
what has happened is that they've reduced what's called friction. Each time you have to like, back in the day when you used to have to put your card in and then it would get it wrong. You'd be like, oh, all right, I have to re-enter the card again. Maybe I just won't get this thing. Or you have to put in your address and stuff and you've got things going on. You're like, I'll just get this later. So in sales, they've reduced what's called friction. And so now we buy more things on Amazon because it's easier, right? So the same thing like with habits, all the things that we're trying to do all the time, the meditating and journaling and getting 20 minutes of AM sunlight before 10 and, all the things. If we can reduce some of the friction, if there's a way to make it a little bit easier, right? So for example, like with the journaling, they used to say, do this first thing in the morning. Well, okay. Now there's friction, right? But what if we say we just do it when we can during the day? A lot easier, right? So all of any of the ways that we can reduce friction and make those things easier to do. Like when I used to meditate a lot, I would meditate. Sometimes I'd be like, I just don't have time. I have to go to school. This is back when I was in college. So I would just meditate in the parking lot in my truck. So, just making it easier to do those things. Mhm.
Mm. I love that. It's almost kind of like the concept of habit stacking from Atomic Habits, if you guys have read that from James
I
Clear,
thought of too.
right? Just kind of
Yeah.
finding, I'm thinking of, because there's my back step on my back porch is like the prime place to feel the sun. And I used to be in a better habit of sitting out there for a second to throw the ball for my dog. And I would feel so much better afterwards when I'd just be sitting there for 5 minutes. And I'm like, what if I just, I'll sit on my porch for 30 seconds sometime during the day, right? But I'm stacking something with another thing that actually makes it easier and more accomplishing. I don't know. Ty, did you have a thought?
Yeah, I'm just going off of what Gavin said. I think Gavin's referencing the minimum goals. And I've probably done this with a lot of people when they were here at the bridge, but this was like a major thing for me. I sucked for a long time at having consistency with things. Like I'd start something and then I'd drop off, and then I'd start a new thing and I'd drop off. And I like could not keep promises to myself. I think that changed when I started making like really small promises and then keeping those. But James Clear was a big one, like habit stacking. I call them my minimums. So I have like minimum goals for different things in my life. Like I have a minimum for physical activity, and I'll just use this one as an example. And many of you have probably heard this, but at the end of my day, when I'm in the shower, I grab my toothbrush and it vibrates for 2 minutes while I brush my teeth. And as soon as I grab my toothbrush, this is my check-in now where I say, what did I do for physical exercise today? And this works for me. This may not work for everybody, but I evaluate my day and it's like, okay, I went rock climbing or mountain biking or I did some weightlifting or something. But if I have those days where it's like, I didn't do a lot today, then I hit my minimum right there and I do at least 64 squats. It's one squat per side of each tooth while I brush my teeth. And then by the end of my shower or by the end of brushing my teeth, at least I did 64 squats that day. And I'm always brushing my teeth at the end of the day. And so it's just connected to that habit that will always be there. And now it's that reminder just to do that. Now, like it, I do it almost all the time anyway, even if I did good activity now, just because it's been like a habit, but it's a really productive one for me. And I have like those are that same concept has applied to a lot of other things like spiritual health. like a gratitude practice where it's triggered with something else happening during my day, a little mindfulness practice, like when I wash my hands between patients in the clinic, I
Yeah.
just go for 30 seconds and there's my moment. I'm already doing that, but then I hit the minimum. And so I like to get a meditation or a yoga practice or something else in throughout the day, but often I don't, but at least I hit the minimums that are like connected with my daily habits. So I think that's what or not Grant, who mentioned that? What Gavin mentioned.
Yeah. Thank you for addressing that, Ty. Awesome. Any other thoughts, you guys? Beautiful conversation. Any other thoughts they'd like to add or questions they want to connect with? Steph, go ahead, hun.
Yeah, I have a bit of a just piggybacking off of what other people are saying. I will usually ask myself, what is the goal? Or like when I find myself like something's not working that I've been trying and I'm beating myself up for it, um, that doesn't help. That's a correction over connecting. So instead, but I connect with myself by saying, what is the goal? Like, kind of like during COVID times, companies and stuff would pivot. They'd kind of like reorient their focus. So I try to do that by asking myself, like, okay, because I have ADHD, but I, I would try to have all these rules for myself that I didn't realize. But for like cooking meals, grocery shopping, all that stuff, like I have to go on this day or I have to have a list before I go to this store, those sorts of things. So I started every week when I wouldn't go to the grocery store again, I would try to reassess and reorient. Okay, what is the goal here? It so in Because I think sometimes we get so focused in on the small details that, like, if you zoom back out and look at it from I don't know, a different perspective, um, or then you can kind of see, oh, my goal is actually just to eat good food. So what can I start stacking or putting together to make it easier for myself? So like accountability or, you know, that's where I started kind of putting in some routines. Once you kind of figure out what works for you, then you can remove yourself from the motivation and the thought of like having to decide to do the thing. But until then, you kind of have to figure out what works for you.
I love that. I love that. And how is it going to be? For me, it's like, how can I make it more simple, right? Because the overstimulation is what can get to me a lot of the time. Because there's so many things that may work, that may not. How can I make it simple, right? And what feels doable for right now? And just start with that. Start with what feels doable and allow that to shift into something that we make as a practice or a ritual as often as we can. And those days, like Signy said, some days you might just miss, and that's okay, right? Because that's part of trying to get it engraved into a practice. So, any other thoughts, you guys?
I have one.
Oh, please. Hi, sweet Melissa.
Hey, babe.
Melissa.
We love to
Um,
hear your thought.
so I've been in the self-awareness kick since I came back from the bridge, and I'll just throw some things out. So the chatter in your head is who's talking, who's listening, and who's observing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a real brain buster. And how to calm it all down is all the things that we learned in the bridge with the circle of physical, mental, psychological, and spiritual. That whole thing ties in on calming the chatter, expectations, and stacking. I've learned not to do that, because if you have an expectation, and what we learned in the bridge is if you don't do it, we then failure and shame and guilt becomes a byproduct of that. Other than acknowledging, yeah, I failed. Okay, let's move on. What did I learn? The self talk of the chatter has to change dramatically. Of when you stack or you set goals, is be careful of failure and be careful of overextending, because the observer, who is really you in this whole conversation, and the person talking and the person listening, is not you. And there has to be caution with that, and it's something that I'm learning and have really taken a bite of the horse here, and I'm running wild with it, because it's when I look back at my 70 years of living, it's like, wow, because you look at a child that's playing on a playing field, there is no chatter in that child's thought. Am I doing it right? What is their view of the other of my peers around me? They have none of that. They are living in the pure essence of themselves. And I think we as adults, as we get into learning and stepping on this, on ourselves and other people stepping on us, and the experience of life, is we forget about that child in us, and that child of experiencing the world without all of the external peer pressures.
Beautiful. Beautiful, Melissa. What a wonderful way to end the call. I don't need to say anything. Thank you
I
for
see
I
that.
want to
one.
throw
Can I
one more
make
thing
one
in.
comment?
Yeah, please, Kim.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Megan.
Oh, Kim, I was just gonna say, give yourself some grace and get creative. Like I have so many problems with sleeping. And coming back, I came back with this whole tool belt, and I kept like, I'm gonna journal at night. I'm gonna do this. Like honestly, what we've resorted to, like, I realized like usually you sleep with like your head at the top of the bed, and I've started sleeping sideways. And like now my husband jokes with me, and he's like, is this a day that yes, we are, we're turning sideways in bed. And then there's days where I'm just like, oh my gosh, these pants, like especially as females, like certain pajamas are just, these are too tight, or these socks I can't. And we just sit there and laugh, and he's like, how many times are you going to change your pants tonight? I don't know, maybe three more times. Like, hang in there with me. Like,
Okay.
just give yourself grace and laugh about it. And then it's gotten easier over time, and now I'm like sleeping again. But at first I would get so frustrated with myself coming home from the bridge. I was like, I was sleeping fine, why am I not sleeping again? But now I'm sleeping good, now that we can just like laugh at it and get through it faster. And don't be afraid of melatonin. Like that was my thing coming back. Like, I'm gonna do this naturally, I'm gonna stretch, and I'm gonna journal, and I'm gonna do all this stuff. Well, there's some nights I just have to take some melatonin and just give yourself some grace.
Let go
Like,
of judgment. Let go of judgment. I love that. What did you have for us, Kimmy? Thank you, Megan.
Oh, I was just gonna say, yeah, thank you. I was just gonna say in relation to Melissa's comment that sometimes though the inner child is who's talking to you now, and there's a need that was unmet
Yeah,
as a child. So
Yes.
I love that.
yeah.
Well, and I like where Melissa's coming from on the observer. Pay attention to who the observer really is. And are we really observing, or are we in a place of judgment? And if we're in that place of judgment, figure out how we can make that shift, right? Embrace with self-compassion. That's how we treat someone else. Let's see if we can do that for ourselves.
Perfect. Beautiful.
You guys, thank you for an incredible night. Provider panel night is my favorite night, and I hope you felt uplifted and encouraged tonight. Providers, you're incredible. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for bringing your light. Thank you, guests, for being the whole reason we are here. We love you. And next week, oh crap, I should have pulled that up. What is next week? Ow. Um, Hold on, let me see what I got here, guys. We have Misty Springer. So I don't know, for those of you, some of you may, she is one of the providers that I have on here that is not located at the bridge. She is remote, but she is incredible. And she's been on here before. I don't know if any of the guests that are on here now have heard from her, but she is located over in Spokane, Washington, and she does a phenomenal job. She has some great insights. So if you are around, we would love to see you next Wednesday, 5:30 to 6:30 Mountain Standard Time. Thank you, guys. Love you so much. This is recorded, so I will send it
you.
out. Love you. Bye.